Jane's heart pounded a wild rhythm in her chest as she found herself standing before an entity that radiated an aura of divinity. Her gaze was captivated by the enigmatic figure, an inescapable sense of reverence taking hold.
Who are you?
I am Osiris, the guardian of the Tablet of Destiny and the protector of the Terra colony.
A sense of profound amazement washed over Jane as she grasped the gravity of the being she was confronted with. The tales spun by her grams paled in comparison to the physical presence of the deity of Earth and afterlife, his sheer majesty far beyond the realm of human words.
Lord Osiris, I am Jane, a Terra witch. I am aware of your incredible strength and your vital role in safeguarding our people.
Osiris's gaze was unwavering, filled with gravity but laced with kindness as he acknowledged Jane's reverence with a nod.
You wield a power few can comprehend, Jane. The tablet didn't err in guiding you to its presence.
A wave of pride mingled with a dash of fear coursed through Jane, his words bringing validation yet raising questions about her potential.
What do you mean, Lord? I am still a novice in witchcraft.
Jane, you possess a power that runs as deep as Yggdrasil, the world tree, its roots stretching across realms.
As Osiris continued, Jane hung on to his every word, her mind racing to comprehend the scale of the possibilities he laid before her.
You have traversed many a lifetime here and elsewhere. We first set foot on this earth together, countless eons in the past.
The enormity of the concepts Osiris presented struck Jane with the force of a revelation, prompting a whirlwind of thoughts about her past lives and the vast cosmos.
How can that be?
The cosmos is limitless, teeming with marvels beyond your current perception. Reincarnation and soul progression are as natural as the rise and fall of the tides.
Jane, wide-eyed, nodded in understanding, a newfound awareness dawning within her. She began to perceive her destiny as something grander than she had ever dared imagine.
Fear not, Jane. This awakening you experience is as beautiful as it is natural. You are here for a significant purpose, and I am here to guide you.
Thank you, my lord. I am prepared to embrace and nurture my powers.
Excellent. Our task ahead is great.
His gaze turned distant as if peering back through the annals of time to a chapter of history shrouded in darkness and turmoil.
Before we continue, let me recount a great conflict from a distant past. A struggle where divine powers clashed against one another.
Osiris's voice filled the room as he began to detail the ancient pyramid wars that unfolded in the land once known as Kem. Jane listened, her breath held, as he told the tale of a divine family torn apart by ambition, fighting for dominion over Earth.
It was a ruthless struggle, a war that morphed the verdant landscapes of northern Africa into a desolate sea of sand. The Grand Pyramid, once a bright jewel amid lush greenery, now stands as a lone monument in a barren wasteland.
Jane felt a pang of sadness at the thought of all that was lost, of the once vibrant ecosystem that now lay buried beneath the endless dunes.
In an era past, Set and I were entangled in a contest for the lordship of Earth, the very planet named in my honor by humankind, hence the Ea in Earth. This struggle extended to my offspring, with Thoth and Amen-Ra vying for the mastery of Kem. It was a devastating war that pitted blood against blood, bringing civilizations to their knees and forever altering the face of our world.
But how could such a catastrophe occur? How could divinities clash amongst themselves?
Power, Jane. The pursuit of power has the potential to taint even the noblest of souls. Regrettably, some of my kin exploited their divine perception, parading as gods to subjugate and manipulate mankind.
That's appalling, but what transpired with you and your kin? Did you triumph in this war?
No victory was claimed, Jane. We were compelled to abandon Earth, to seek sanctuary in distant worlds. Yet, Earth's allure was unforgettable. its beauty, and the potential of its denizens. Hence, I returned, assuming the mantle of Guardian of the Crystal Tablet, dedicated to the protection and guidance of Earth's inhabitants.
Jane felt a swell of respect for Osiris, for his selfless devotion to humanity. The presence of this noble entity filled her with an overwhelming sense of reverence, the realization of his trials and perpetual hope for a brighter future warming her heart. Osiris directed a gaze filled with warmth and familiarity at Jane.
Jane, my old companion, your soul is ancient and pure. In eons past, we journeyed together, along with my kin, to this world.
Jane regarded Osiris. A sense of profound connection and unspoken understanding passed between them, an inexplicable bond that transcended time and space.
Your expertise in the craft of magic science was exceptional. It is why you demonstrate such proficiency in alchemy and chemistry today. The root of chem resonates within the very nomenclature of these disciplines, acknowledging their origins in the land of chem.
Jane nodded in comprehension, a sense of understanding lighting her path as Osiris elucidated the connection between her inherent talents and the land's history.
You've always been aware of this, haven't you, Jane? You knew of your fate to ascend as Earth's next queen. Thus, you elected to incarnate as a powerful sorceress, your intent to awaken and liberate mankind from the oppressive darkness of a faction known as the Dark Ones.
Jane gasped in realization. Her intuition had been correct all along. She always harbored a sense of purpose, a calling to aid humanity, but the full scope of her role had remained elusive until this moment.
The Dark Ones. So that's their name. They're the culprits of the chaos and torment that afflicts our world.
Osiris nodded solemnly, his visage etched with gravity.
Indeed they are. Their influence must not be underestimated. For eons, they've reigned from the shadows, maneuvering events to benefit their agenda. But now, with you prophesied as Earth's queen, we stand a chance to retaliate, to reinstate equilibrium to the world.
Jane drew a deep breath, her resolve hardened and strength swelling within. She was aware of the rocky path ahead, but felt prepared to surmount any challenge that lay in wait with Osiris's guidance and her unique abilities.
I stand ready, Osiris. I pledge to do whatever is necessary to shield this world and liberate it from the shackles of darkness.
Osiris bestowed upon her a proud smile, his gaze radiating confidence.
I have no doubt that you will, Jane. You're destined for greatness, and it is my honor to accompany you on this journey.
As Osiris turned towards the glittering stargate and proceeded towards it, the lights enveloping the gate intensified. Jane watched in wonder as the colors swirled around Osiris, rendering an ethereal spectacle of terror and beauty. Stepping into the stargate, Osiris raised a hand in farewell, just as the portal erupted in a blinding burst of light. Once the radiance of the stargate dimmed, Jane found herself alone in the chamber, her mind whirring with countless thoughts and emotions. The sheer magnitude of the encounter, meeting a divine being, revelations of her past lives, and the prophecy of her ascendancy as Earth's queen was overwhelming. But as the initial shock receded, Jane was imbued with newfound purpose and clarity. She realized her role was monumental, and she must employ her powers and knowledge to combat the Dark Ones and restore balance to Terra. Persistent, Jane returned to the passage in the wall, her thoughts brimming with confidence and a fierce resolve to fulfill her destiny. Emerging on the other side, she drew a deep breath and surveyed the horizon, prepared to meet the challenges that lay ahead. Exterior, cave entrance, night. Jane steps out of the cave, her heart pounding in her chest as she scans the dark, eerie surroundings. The only source of light is the faint glow of the moon and stars above, casting an ethereal sheen on the jagged rocks and twisted trees. Suddenly, she sees them, the vampires from her premonition, standing in a sinister circle and waiting for her. The first vampire, a tall and menacing figure, steps forward with a sneer on his lips. The second one, a smaller but equally sinister vampire, flanks him on the left.
Well. Look who's decided to join us. You don't belong here, witch.
Jane's eyes flare with anger and determination as she stands her ground, her fingers curling into tight fists.
I am the rightful owner of this sacred land. You are not welcome here.
As the vampires erupt into menacing laughter, their true monstrous forms emerge. The veins beneath their eyes pulsate ominously, while their eyes transform into a bloodshot red, a sure sign of their impending feast. Jane's heart drums against her chest as she takes a deep, steadying breath, preparing herself for the impending battle.
You're in no position to make demands, little witch.
Your audacity of stepping into the canyon.
Jane closes her eyes, grounding herself in the earth beneath her feet, the air swirling around her. She taps into her immense power, focusing it, harnessing it. Then, with an ear-piercing scream, she releases it. The force of her energy explosion tears through the sinister darkness, illuminating the path and hurling the vampires backward. Instantly, they disintegrate into ashes and smoke, filling the night air with a stench of burnt flesh. The recoil from such a powerful energy blast sends Jane to her knees, the force of it causing a trickle of blood to leak from her nose. Her hair whips wildly around her in the wind, and for a moment, there's peace. But the relief is fleeting as two more vampires slip from the shadowy edges of the forest, their eyes gleaming with a hunger that is all too deadly.
Really? Again? Didn't you get the memo when your friends turned into barbecue?
But the vampires disregard her stern warning, advancing with their fangs exposed, glinting ominously under the pallid moonlight. Suddenly, a figure emerges from the shadows behind them. Aidan. His eyes are a mirror image of theirs, bloodshot red, but there's a controlled rage in his gaze. He lunges at the first vampire, hoisting him into the air with an ease that belies his human appearance. The second vampire lunges at him, but Aidan swiftly evades and plunges his hand into the vampire's chest, ripping out its heart. The first vampire's struggles are futile. Aidan rips out his heart too, discarding the lifeless bodies onto the ground like ragdolls. Aidan rushes to Jane, his face softening as he kneels beside her.
It's okay, Jane. They're gone now.
Jane wraps her arms around him, her body shaking. He holds her tightly, whispering words of comfort as she starts to cry.
Shh. It's okay. You're safe now.
Their heartfelt moment is interrupted as Jane pulls back, her eyes filled with confusion and fear.
Who are you, Aidan? What are you?
Aidan sighs deeply, his gaze filled with a centuries-old sadness.
I'm a vampire, Jane, but don't be afraid. I would never hurt you.
Jane recoils, her eyes wide with shock and fear.
A vampire? But why didn't you tell me before?
I couldn't, Jane. It's not easy being a vampire. People fear us, hunt us. I didn't want you to fear me, or worse, to turn against me.
Jane steps back, the realization hitting her like a punch to the gut.
So, you're a monster. You kill people and drink their blood.
No, Jane, there are different kinds of vampires. Some kill to feed, but others, like me, have found ways to survive without hurting anyone.
How is that possible?
We don't have to kill to survive, Jane. There are other ways to get blood. Some vampires choose to drink animal blood, or simply feed and erase the victim's memory. I've been doing that for a long time now, and that's why I wouldn't go near Brooke. Wolves can smell vampires.
But why are you helping me, Aidan? Why did you save my life?
Aidan looks at Jane, his gaze reflecting a warmth that surprises her.
Because you're special, Jane. You're a Terra witch. That's rare, and because I care about you.
Jane's heart flutters at his words, a smile forming on her lips.
I care about you too, Aidan.
Their heartfelt moment is interrupted by the rustling sound of movement in the bushes. Two more vampires emerge, their predatory eyes gleaming in the moonlight.
What do we do now?
Aidan steps forward, his gaze hardening as he surveys the approaching vampires.
We fight, Jane. We fight for our lives.
In a swift motion, Aidan breaks off a branch from a nearby tree. With his supernatural speed, he charges at the vampires. using the makeshift wooden stake to pierce their hearts. The vampires gasp and collapse, their bodies desiccating. Jane watches Aidan in awe, gratitude welling up inside her.
Thank you, Aidan. Thank you for saving my life.
Aidan turns to her, a soft smile playing on his lips.
Always, Jane. Always.
Exterior, Grand Canyon. Night, Aidan carries Jane in his arms as they walk through the Grand Canyon. The stars twinkle brightly in the sky, and the moon illuminates their path. The sound of crickets fills the air, and the occasional hoot of an owl can be heard. Aidan looks down at Jane, who is exhausted from using so much of her energy. He holds her carefully, not wanting to hurt her. As they walk, the canyon walls tower above them, casting long shadows across the path. The wind picks up, and the occasional hoot of a great horned owl adds to the eerie atmosphere. Despite the danger that surrounds them, Aidan feels a sense of peace and freedom in this place. He takes a deep breath and savors the cool night air. They finally reach the end of the canyon, and Aidan helps Jane down from a small boulder. She stretches her tired limbs, grateful for the chance to rest. Aidan looks up at the towering walls of the canyon, feeling a sense of awe and wonder at the beauty of the natural world. After a few moments, Aidan takes Jane's hand, and they continue their journey towards Terra Manor.